So I was really deep. I'm an active Buddhist. I've been a Buddhist for 14, 15 years. I was really into meditation. I think meditation was the first thing that opened me up to all of this, because all those things that I talked about previously were there. But once I got into meditation, I was like, oh, okay. That's kind of what like brought it all to life. Um, and I saw that, how much, perspective and power of mind and just how important those things are. And then I started to, really get into line with my own energy self. And I was like, wait a minute, this lines up with everything. And I will tell you this, Nick, it is the first thing where I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you are watching and listening. This is the Holistic Monitor, and I'm your host, Nick Sconia. We are now live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time Zone on YouTube and Facebook, where you can chat with the guest. We look forward to your participation, discussion, and input. Your support has meant the world to me this last year, and helps to bring better production and secure the topics you want to hear. Head to holisticmonitor.com for ways to listen in and support. And with that, let's get the show started. Okay, how we doing, Nicole? Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, you never know. Mercury retrograde, 10,000 planets going backwards.
You're not joking. You're not joking.
All right. So we've got you on the phone, on the road.
I actually pulled over. I wanted to be able to give you my, my full attention.
Awesome. Okay. So let's start with what got you started in the world of Reiki and energy healing?
I think I kind of, I grew up with my own trials, tribulations. I know we all have, but, I came from exceptionally hard trauma. Actually dealt with quite a bit of stuff, substance abuse, was a teenage mother, just trying to combat life and what all those trials meant for me. Was I just going to be someone that suffered from these things? Am I going to adopt a victim mentality, or do I do something with it? I had always been an empath and sensitive since I was very little. So I knew that was something, right? We didn't talk about it as much as we talk about it now. So I think between all of those together, I said, this is something that, no matter how dark our past is, no matter what we've personally been through, I think Little Lotus brought me to being okay to look at myself and telling people it's okay to look down that dark side. We don't always need to run from our trauma. It's going to be there whether you run or not. Heal eventually, live authentically, live happily, listen to our bodies and teach others to do that. We all deserve to live a life that's not only just authentic and happy, but trauma-free.
Right. Well, and that is, that's so true. And difficult to get to that point, I think, for a lot of people.
It is, and it's not easy.
Yeah. Reiki in itself is a very, very simplistic and refined, I would say, method of working energy, and maybe coming to realization that energy is about, and it's something that through Reiki can move through and help. But it really doesn't have much beyond that. There's not really much beyond very little dogma, and it's more about the person being ready and being ready to be a vessel for universal life force.
You still got shadow work, right? You still have shadow work. You still have to have someone on the other end that's ready to take those steps. And I think that's something big that we've been talking about, or at least I know personally I've been talking to a lot of clients about, because it's night and day difference. You know what I mean? You know, I have certain clients that I work with weekly that I have with for years, and just they're out there doing the shadow work. That's where my respect comes in. It's not easy. No one, you know, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Now, shadow work, that gets into kind of another aspect of energy work, which is delving into the self and reclaiming personal power.
Correct.
And that's something that it's like a personal journey for everybody. And there's lots of methods and tools to help in that, in that journey of the self-discovery.
Definitely.
Reiki in itself doesn't necessarily lead one in a direction. It's very it stands on its own, I find, as a healing practice. But what drew you to do more? Were you already doing other forms of healing modalities, or?
So I was really deep. I'm an active Buddhist. I've been a Buddhist for 14, 15 years. I was really into meditation. I think meditation was the first thing that opened me up to all of this, because all those things that I talked about previously were there. But once I got into meditation, I was like, oh, okay. That's kind of what like brought it all to life. And I saw that, you know, how much, you know, perspective and power of mind and just how important those things are. And then I started to, you know, really get into line with my own energy self. And I was like, wait a minute, this lines up with everything. And I will tell you this, Nick, it is the first thing where I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to do. You know, when we all have like that aha moment, I even get emotional as I talk to you about it, because they say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. That is Little Lotus for me. It's almost 9:30 in the evening, and I could not be more hyped. This is what I'm supposed to do, and I feel it in my heart. And I do think that also comes out with, you know, my client testimonials and stuff like that. I take pride in it.
Yeah. Well, before we go any further, you do have a website where people can find you and reach out to you as well, right?
Yes. LittleLotus-Reiki.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Again, we're in the metaverse now, so that's exciting.
What is the metaverse? What are you finding with the metaverse as far as for business or?
So, you know what? First off, I got into it to be social with a lot of my friends and family members. When you're so busy, you know, I come home from a long day. The last thing I want to do is go out. So it was like this reconnection tool until I started to really dive. And I do a lot of distance sessions. I work with animals and humans all over the entire globe. So I was sitting there and I was like, what if I took my distance sessions, because Quest was becoming really big, right? Everybody's headed towards that direction. Technology has given us so many amazing opportunities. And that's when I was like, I'm going to build a studio in the metaverse. I am going to have for, you know, any of my distance sessions, my distance sessions currently for someone that's not in VR is, you know, I will open up that tube and then I do, you know, an hour-long feedback video that they can have to watch, you know, as many times as they need to. We kind of do this give and take feedback, you know. But for VR, they actually can have their headset on. We can be there. And we can go through it right there. You know, energy is universal. So it's so cool to offer that. And have someone, because sometimes people need that, right? Even if it's distance, sometimes people need to, hey, I'm sitting in a room with this person. And again, every situation's different. I want to be able to reach every situation that I can.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of those amazing things with the idea and method of Reiki is that the distance ability to work through time, but also to work through any barrier of distance. That VR or metaverse or whatever is a means for you to get together with somebody and work that being able to operate in a space that connects you directly with somebody else. It's a quantum physics kind of operation where you're able to affect change at a distance almost immediately, or is it immediate? It's hard to say. Maybe it's even before. But you're there, and there's a space, and they're there. And for us, it maybe makes it more tangible, the fact that distance energy work actually does work.
Correct. I think that's what some people need. You know what I mean? I think that's what they need. They need to see that person in front of them. But I think COVID made us all realize a lot. I see more distance now since COVID. You know, it's opened us up a little bit in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you do a lot of work with, I say pets, but you do a lot of animal Reiki with pets and boarded animals of all sorts. Is that right?
Yes, I work with rescues and sanctuaries across the entire country. And when we say pets, let's include, I worked with elephants, cougars, pumas, all the way down to your farm animals. My animal Reiki sessions is something I again, not that I don't take pride in my human sessions, but the animal sessions is next level for me. It's hard to tell you who's healing who sometimes out there. And I mean that, when we talk about kind of like what we just were with COVID, COVID, I think, made us all realize that, we were all disconnected and we're living too fast paced because we were forced not to be. We were too fast paced. We were disconnected, illness and this and that. And then we look and we're like, animals are being discarded. And I'll tell you right now, animals have just as much, if not worse, trauma than humans. And I mean that. And sadly, animals have more compassion than some humans. I wish that wasn't true, and they need healing just the same. I worked with, certain rescues where we've done these events, and then the next thing you know, we have 6 canines that were, deemed unadoptable. We do a trauma release for a couple of weeks, and these guys are now in happy homes. We all have these things that we need to get over, whether we're animal or human, and we can all live happier and healthier lives with that.
Yeah. It's what I find in the once you leave the realm of the human, when you're starting to work with other organic things, is that there's a natural reciprocity there that's going to happen. Trees, a great example.
100%.
Very easy to get in touch with, very easy to commune with and share the energy.
Yeah.
Animals, typically, like you said, there is maybe some trauma that's involved, probably due to humans, but there's a natural ability there on their end to reciprocate the energy. I think it's the blocks that humans make everything so complicated. Through belief or non-belief, and of course our inability to sense beyond our standard 5. That closes us off. It's like a closed door.
It does.
Now
we have a lot to learn from animals.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I would say is that in doing the work, or even in going and spending time with rescue or to be rescued animals. At shelters or in nature, they call it nature bathing, that will open us up to a greater ability to sense beyond those 5, and maybe enhance the 5, but also to sense beyond it, to be more open to that life force that's present.
For sure.
Yeah. Now, you have was it something about Thumper that was happening?
Yeah, so the Thumper is something that I'm keeping the conversation going. So when we talk about rescues and sanctuaries, Thumper was a bunny, an older senior bun from the Columbus House Rabbit Society, And I actually wrote an article that's coming out in my October newsletter about Thump. And Thumper was suffering. There is a disease called EC, and it's a parasite of the brain. It affects the entire body. It's incurable. And Thumper, it's one of those situations that I go in and I'm doing Reiki, and a master, a teacher will always tell you there's something to learn about yourself with every session. Mm-hmm. Thumper was that, and then some. Thumper I worked with weekly for years. Thumper came out of remission. Usually EC was a death sentence. I mean, it was. I mean, that was when EC was mentioned in a room. That was where that conversation usually went to eventually, right? Thumper showed me resilience. I have never seen such a warrior spirit. And Thumper held on for quite a few years till just last month. It was a very peaceful going. He was surrounded, by all his loved ones. I'm currently working with a couple of the bunnies. I'm working with his bond, Gracie. And I really feel like Reiki, on top of the wonderful environment, I do got to give my hands off to Dr. Borders, which is a vet that works with those bunnies. Absolutely amazing. So when you add Reiki into, good vet care or a wonderful, positive, loving environment, you have all those pieces. Thumper is the result. Thumper not only, after 6 months of Reiki, almost had his neck all the way realigned because EC causes a head tilt. He was almost all the way, and you can look on my Instagram for his pictures. He was almost all the way back up. And then he went back into remission, and he still fought and fought. There was never a time where we said, is he unhappy? Is there a quality of life thing here? Is he in pain? Nothing. This guy was a go, 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 go. And, towards the end, this was a thing where Reiki was able to help transition not only Thumper, but the loved ones around him. Right. They kind of, I see Reiki come in again. And not only did Thumper teach me stuff, but, that hashtag Thumper Tough is still going. It just is a beautiful reminder of no matter what our situation, we find power in ourselves. We're resilient. We have that warrior-like spirit. And I want Thumper's story to always be out there because he is one of the ones where I'm like, that one, I learned so much about myself just by, being active in his journey, in his healing journey. And it's amazing. People's got to look up the Thumper Tough. He was an amazing little bunny.
And I can see that on your Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And now all this is being done through your business, Little Lotus Reiki.
Yeah.
And where is that centered at? Where are you based out of?
I am in Clintonville. I've been in Clintonville for 4.5 years. Absolutely love it.
Clintonville in what's
Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio?
Columbus, Ohio, yep.
Okay. There you go. And so the business is doing well. You're seeing kind of a growing clientele and all that?
Very much so.
That's
very
great.
much so. We're in some busy times. But it's a good thing, right? We have people paying attention. We have people that says, you know what? I've just decided that I don't want to live with this anymore. I'm ready to unpack this. And that's where I'm like, you know what? I respect it. Let's unpack it together. We got it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the way to go. And there is so much going on in the world that, the world needs more people that are looking to help and to assist people's traumas that are just piling up, for a lot of people.
True.
How close are you to the to that train derailment that happened with that spill?
So I would probably say that's a little bit past date. So probably about 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
A little bit under 2 hours.
About
Close
2 hours.
enough. Still a lot of crazy. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Wild. That spilled into the Ohio River, I guess, is where it ended up.
Yes, sir, it did.
All downstream, as they say.
Of course.
Now, I had heard tales when I went to Manitou Springs in Colorado that initially these were sacred springs that were shamanic healing waters for many tribes, plains and mountain tribes. And then it became kind of a sanctuary for healing for the pioneers, for these healing springs. And at a different time, there was one group, a good group, went in and moved into there in mass, and a bad group who moved in. And one, tried to curse the water, and another tried to bless the water, and there's this whole thing that happens with that. Have you ever worked in nature with nature in Reiki to try and maybe send Reiki to a stream or something like that to help?
As a matter of fact, we do a couple world events. I'm part of the International Center of the Reiki organization. And we do these, they're called Wakashis, where we all kind of came together and we'll send to a world event. The hurricane a couple years ago, we sent to. But yeah, there's a lot of those that we all get together. It's a set time, and we're opening up with NOSA, which is a symbol I use. I recently moved to the country. We bought a couple acres because I realized that's what I needed. I needed to have that every day. I needed that. Doing what I do, I needed to be able to come home and say, oh, okay, this is my clearing. Because we all need that. I offer Reiki to my woods 3 or 4 times a week. I do an offering at least once a week. I just did one last night, with some sweetgrass and rosemary, just to kind of, give tribute to the ones that were there. Make sure that I'm always on that, showing respect, right? I think as humans, we get in a space and we're like, this is mine. Look at all this. This is mine. No, it wasn't. You know what I mean? It's not yours. It's on loan to you. There was others that are still here. Our ancestors are constantly with us. And I think when we show respect, I do think we walk a different path. I believe that in my heart.
Yeah. There's something to be said about having some time to ground. And I think especially 100%. In doing energy work, we forget what energy is. And it's, we're looking in the concept and the movement of thought, but this manifests in electricity. This manifests in sparks. And really what we do is work as technicians for electrical pulses. And the need for grounding, I think, is very high for the accumulation of this stuff that can happen with the, working with energy, like being an electrician.
So true.
Absolutely. So there you go. And as far as for traveling, have you gone to any special places of power, or any places known to hold higher amounts of energetic pulses? Or
no, but that? You know what? There is one place, the Kaiki tribe. They're an Amazonian tribe that has welcomed me to come. They live in sacred ground, and there is one of the tribes, medicine woman, and a lot of, when we talk about tribes and indigenous, and a lot of the medicine people are not necessarily in the female, right? So this one invited me to live among their tribe for 2 weeks, walk among with their local medicine woman, and it is something that was supposed to happen right before COVID, and I am really feeling so called to that right now. It is something that I actually talked about this evening, just taking advantage of those opportunities. Right.
Yeah. Taking your energy maybe to the next level.
Correct. And seeing we can always learn something, right? And pay homage. Why would we never pay homage to the people that were spiritual way before we even knew what spirituality was?
Yeah.
These people have got it right for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I'm blessed. I know it's going to be, you know, there's certain things in our life that I think unlock certain keys. You know what I mean? Like there's certain, you know, situations. I really do think that is one of those things that's going to unlock one of those keys for me. And I cannot be more eager for it.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. You know, and what you're doing is you're potentially going to be doing is learning from an ancient or old lineage, wisdom and memories and ways of being, and what that can unlock for you. You know, there's no telling, of course, but the gain of experience in that that just, you know, revitalizes your batteries and, you know, recharges your spirit.
Definitely
puts a light on the torch. You know.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in coming, you know, going to places and learning from people that have either a lineage or have been, you know, walking the walk for a long time in that lineage that can share that kind of wisdom. There's a lot of value to that. And of course, it seems like that gets to be fewer and farther between as far as where that's accessible.
Well, because they're becoming fewer and fewer, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
it's that growth of technology that makes the demands of carrying or passing something down much more difficult.
Yes, very true. You know? Very true.
And as far as for your next 5 years, is this something that you're looking to do? Is this journey to the South?
You know, I can't imagine not doing. Are you asking me if this is something in the next 5 years I'm going to the tribe, or just Little Lotus in general?
In the next 5 years, is this something you're looking to do? Is to go down?
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Also, another thing, I didn't include this because I wouldn't necessarily consider it some of my sacred ground, is, again, one of those keys is elephant work. I was I was so elated when I got to do some Reiki at the Columbus Zoo, right?
Yeah.
Sad because it's at the zoo. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to be completely honest. You know, they looked at me and they said, well, how does he feel? And I'm like, well, do you want me to be honest? Because I'm here for the animal. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be honest. I had looked into and was conversing and was asked to come to Thailand to work with the elephant sanctuary, which is the one that has the elephant nursery. Okay. That is another thing that will definitely unlock one of those keys. Those are my two. Other than the Northern Lights, those are my two. Those are definitely two things I plan in the next 5 years. It's you gotta take advantage and go out and embrace everything, right? And I can't wait. I really cannot wait. Again, Thailand's got its own, you know, sacred and you know, history back to, you know, that kind of sits well with me. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and elephants are known as wisdom keepers, right? That's their long memories that they have.
They're amazing.
Kind of lends an idea that they're, you know, deep wells of wisdom.
They're just amazing creatures, and there's so much to them. There's just a couple different types of animals. You know, when we talk about equine, there is something, you know, every animal I cherish, but there's a different pulse that comes from a horse.
Yeah.
Equine are, you know, there's something there, you know, and I just think that they're on a different frequency, and I think elephants are another one of those animals. For sure. Very emotionally intelligent and just vibrant, vivid.
Oh, yeah. 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 At the Northern Lights, though, you might actually be able to catch those in Ohio, right? We've been getting more of that.
We have been looking I have a couple friends in the upper part of Michigan, and every time the numbers go up, they're like, Nicole, it's your weekend. It's your weekend. And I am out there every weekend. And I'm like, you know what? Because my sister went to the zero light pollution. And that's supposed to be a wonderful area for it. But some of the photos that I'm seeing come out of Michigan, it's beautiful. I mean, they're gorgeous. There's something there.
Yeah. Wild, isn't it? That's probably the UP, probably really far up.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I guess it'll be coming lost when it's supposed to, right?
Right. Like Norway, or is it Norway, Finland? This is the hot spots.
Finland is where we were looking at going. Yeah.
Yeah. Stay in a lodge and get to see the sights, get to be amazed 100%. By the sky. You know. And what is the Northern Lights? They say that's the sun's ionosphere firing off of sun flares.
The solar flares off the sun flares, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's pretty amazing when you see how beautiful they are, right? You're like, wow, it just shows us. Look at what just the universe alone can show you its beauty time and time again.
Yeah, and that's you could say it's nature. Or
for sure.
The scientists can say, well, this is what it is, but isn't it beautiful? Isn't it amazing?
That's right.
Doesn't it inspire? That being a natural phenomenon. You know?
So true.
That is a natural phenomenon. The sky is on fire in color. It's just amazing. Yeah.
So true.
Well, very good. And so for your website, when they go there, they'll be able to see what your offerings are, and obviously get in touch with you through the website as well.
Yeah, all of our services are on there. All the different types of sessions, animal sessions. If it's not distance, I keep the animal in their home. They do better in the home. You know, I think car rides for any animal is kind of stressful, no matter how much you think they like them. So they just do better in their house. I travel to a lot of the sanctuaries, and then animal communication sessions, and my expos, classes, all that fun stuff. And again, the newsletter is getting ready to drop. And then I'm going to start doing Reiki shares. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. We were talking about Moashes, when the International Reiki Association has all these people to get together. So I want to do it to where anybody that I've attuned, and I've not jumped in. Everybody's like, why haven't you done classes? Why haven't you done classes? I said, because there's a responsibility with classes and teaching appropriately. But Reiki shares is to where anybody of any Reiki level can come in, and just we team together and we say, okay, let's offer back to us. You know, we're out there giving so much. Let's bring it back into us. Let's rejuvenate ourselves, or let's send it. Say we got, a storm coming in off the coast of Florida. Let's send there. So I look forward to doing a lot of that.
Yeah, that could be amazing. So that'd be more community involvement.
Yeah, I do a lot of community stuff. I work with Wounded Warrior, Ronald McDonald House. I actually do some Reiki for the families if they have a child in treatment. We do Reiki right down at the Ronald McDonald House. I do multiple retreats each year for the SOAP organization, which is Save Our Adolescents from Prostitution. There are a lot of trafficked victims, and I am always looking to be more involved in my community. That's where it starts. You give back. I think the reason why I'm so active in it is because how cool is it that I get to do this? It's not. It don't feel necessarily like work. It is my way to say I am so filled with gratitude for the universe for allowing me to do this. I'm going to make sure that it reaches community members that need it the most, both human and animal.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're doing amazing things, human, animal, and otherwise. And, it's really good to have you on the show today and to hear your story, your message.
Yeah.
And what do you have any advice for somebody that might be looking to get into Reiki or looking to get into some form of energy work, if not Reiki?
I would say, remember the power to transform your life is within you. We got to embrace our energy, find our balance, and to continue to radiate positivity no matter where you are. It's, if someone is looking into Reiki or any other, if they're curious about other types of energy healing, I really encourage you to really explore it. You know, there's a reason you're being called to that. And that's how it all started with me, right? Follow that. Follow anything that leads you like that, exceptionally energy healing and stuff like that, because like you said earlier, the world needs you more than ever. Just keep in mind that, you know, this journey to wellness begins with an open heart and a willingness to embrace the energy within you. And I wish each of you just the peace and love and a lot of light on your path.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Thank you so much again for being here. And
Thanks so much, Nick. It's been an honor.
We should do this again.
I look forward to it, sir. You let me know, and I'll take some pictures of Northern Lights for you.
Yes, please. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks, Nick. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.